Picture this. It's a quiet evening in Leeds, England. Chris Taylor and his girlfriend Susie are cuddled up on the couch watching TV. Their beloved African gray parrot, Ziggy, sits perched nearby, tilting his head with those knowing, intelligent eyes. Suddenly, Ziggy squawks in a perfect imitation of Susie's voice. "I love you, Gary." Then, kissing noises. Chris freezes. His girlfriend goes pale. Who the hell is Gary? What if your pet could spill your deepest, darkest secrets? This actually happened, and it ended a 4-year relationship overnight. Today, you're about to meet the parrot that became an accidental detective and discover why these feathered geniuses might be smarter than you ever imagined. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone! If you've ever thought parrots just mindlessly repeat sounds like a feathered tape recorder, you're in for a shock. Parrots, especially African greys, are among the most intelligent creatures on planet Earth. We're talking cognitive abilities rivaling a 4- to 5-year-old human child. The legendary Dr. Irene Pepperberg proved this with Alex, an African gray who could identify colors, shapes, count objects, and even grasp concepts like same and different. These birds don't just mimic, they understand context, form memories, and sometimes they witness things humans wish they hadn't. Today, we're diving into real-life cases where parrots used their perfect mimicry to expose human infidelity. From the infamous Ziggy scandal to a courtroom showdown in Kuwait, these stories will change how you see animal intelligence forever. Because when your parrot starts talking, someone's secret is about to come out. Let's get into it. Our main story takes us to Leeds, England in 2006. Chris Taylor was a 38-year-old guy living with his girlfriend Susie and their 2-year-old African gray parrot named Ziggy. By all accounts, they were a happy couple. Chris adored Susie. He trusted her completely. But Ziggy? Ziggy was about to blow that trust into a million pieces. African greys are obsessive listeners. They pick up phrases, tones, voices, and they remember everything. Ziggy had learned to mimic both Chris and Susie's voices perfectly. He'd say, "I love you" in their tones, squawk their arguments, even imitate the phone ringing. One evening, Chris was home with Susie when Ziggy suddenly piped up in an eerily accurate impression of Susie's voice. "I love you, Gary." Then, kissing sounds. "Moi, moi, moi." Chris' blood ran cold. Who's Gary? Susie laughed it off. Maybe Ziggy heard it on TV. Maybe he was confused. But Ziggy kept saying it, over and over. "I love you, Gary." Always in Susie's voice, always with those kisses. Chris started noticing other things. Ziggy would mimic Susie's flirty laugh, the one she never used with him anymore. The bird started repeating phone conversations in hushed, intimate tones, stuff Chris had never heard directly. Imagine trying to ignore your parrot. This bird you raised from a chick who knows every sound in your home is essentially playing back audio evidence of betrayal on loop. Chris couldn't take it anymore. He confronted Susie. And here's where it gets heartbreaking. She confessed. There was a Gary. She'd been seeing him behind Chris's back for months. Ziggy had been in the room during phone calls, during intimate moments, soaking it all in like a feathered surveillance system. The relationship ended, but it gets even sadder. Chris loved Ziggy, but every time the parrot spoke in Susie's voice, it reopened the wound. Eventually, Chris had to rehome Ziggy. The pain was too much. A parrot's incredible memory, their gift for perfect mimicry, destroyed a relationship and cost Ziggy his home. Chris told reporters, "Every time Ziggy squawked Gary, I was reminded of her infidelity. I couldn't bear it." But parrots don't just expose girlfriends. Sometimes it's the husbands who get caught. Fast forward to 2016, a woman in Kuwait, let's call her Layla, started noticing something odd. Her pet parrot kept repeating flirty phrases in her husband's voice, but these weren't things he said to her. The parrot would coo, "Habibi, my darling," in the husband's deep voice. Then it would giggle in a higher-pitched feminine voice, definitely not Layla's voice. Layla listened closer. The parrot mimicked entire conversations, sweet nothings, whispered endearments, and it always happened in the same pattern: husband's voice followed by another woman's voice. Layla investigated. Turns out her husband had been having an affair with the housemaid right there in the family home, while the parrot watched and learned. Now here's where it gets wild. Layla was so convinced by the parrot's testimony that she actually went to the police. She brought the parrot as evidence. Can you imagine walking into a police station with a bird under your arm saying, "This parrot proves my husband's cheating"? The authorities were reportedly bemused. While the parrot's mimicry helped Layla confront her husband and get a confession, the case was eventually dismissed. Why? Because legally, a parrot can't testify in court. The bird's evidence was deemed inadmissible. But here's the thing, it didn't need to go to trial. The parrot had already done its job. The husband confessed, the marriage ended. Score another one for the parrots. Relationship detectives, 0% salary required. Now, these aren't isolated incidents. There are dozens of anecdotal stories, some verified, some urban legend, of parrots becoming accidental witnesses to human drama. In one case, a parrot in Michigan reportedly mimicked a heated argument between a couple right before the woman was found murdered. The parrot repeated phrases like, "Don't shoot," in the victim's voice. While this evidence couldn't convict the suspect legally, it gave investigators chilling insight into the crime. Another parrot in Australia exposed a man's secret gambling habit by repeatedly squawking betting odds and phrases like, "Come on, lucky 7." These birds don't understand that they're exposing secrets. They're not trying to be moral arbiters. They're just doing what evolution designed them to do: mimic sounds with uncanny precision and recall them at random or sometimes perfectly contextual moments. But why are parrots so good at this? Let's talk science. Parrots belong to a group of birds with exceptionally large brains relative to their body size. Recent studies have shown that bird brains contain more neurons per cubic inch than mammalian brains, including ours. Their neurons are just packed more densely. The secret to their mimicry lies in an organ called the syrinx, basically a bird's voice box. But unlike our larynx, which has one sound source, the syrinx is located where the trachea splits into two bronchi. This means parrots can produce two different sounds simultaneously. They can harmonize with themselves. But it's not just about copying sounds. African greys especially demonstrate true cognitive understanding. Dr. Irene Pepperberg's work with Alex proved they can identify and label over 50 objects, understand concepts like bigger or smaller, same or different, count up to 6, express desires and even emotions. Alex famously told Dr. Pepperberg, "I love you," the night before he died, unprompted. These birds feel, they think. In wildlife, parrots are highly social. They live in complex flocks with hierarchies, relationships, and communication systems. They need to remember who's who's mating with whom, where food sources are. That requires serious brain power. When we bring them into our homes, they treat us like their flock. They listen to everything. They pick up on patterns, emotions in voices, and contexts. When Ziggy heard Susie say, "I love you, Gary," in a specific tone, probably during intimate moments, he associated that voice, that phrase, that emotion together. And then he replayed it, because to Ziggy, he was just being a parrot. He had no idea he was detonating a relationship.
Imagine hiding an affair from a creature with perfect auditory memory, the ability to mimic any sound with 99% accuracy, no concept of secrets or discretion, a lifespan of 50 to 60 years, meaning it'll remember forever. Yeah, good luck with that. These stories aren't just entertaining drama, they reveal something profound about animal intelligence. For decades, we've underestimated birds. Bird brain was an insult, but now we know that bird cognition rivals and sometimes exceeds many mammals. This has real implications. First, pet care. If your parrot is this smart, it needs mental stimulation, social interaction, and enrichment. A bored parrot is a depressed parrot. These aren't decorative pets, they're intelligent beings that can suffer emotionally. Second, conservation. Many parrot species are critically endangered due to habitat loss and the illegal pet trade. Understanding their
Intelligence should motivate us to protect them. We're not just saving pretty birds, we're saving some of Earth's most remarkable minds. Third, be very careful what you say around your parent, because that bird is listening, recording, and it will play back your most embarrassing moments at the worst possible time. Asked your partner if they gained weight? The parrot will repeat it at Thanksgiving dinner. Had a private argument? Your parrot will reenact it for your guests. Cheating on your spouse? Well, you know how that ends. So what have we learned today? That parrots, especially African greys, are cognitive powerhouses. They don't just mimic, they listen, remember, and sometimes accidentally become the most honest creatures in the room. Ziggy didn't mean to destroy Chris and Susie's relationship. The parrot in Kuwait didn't intend to be a homewrecker. These birds were just being themselves, absorbing their environment and reflecting it back with zero filter. And that's what makes them so remarkable and maybe a little terrifying. In a world where humans constantly hide truths, bend facts, and keep secrets, parrots are brutally, innocently honest. They're living recordings of reality. Next time you're around a parrot, look into those eyes. What has it heard? What does it know? And more importantly, what will it say next? Which story shocked you the most? Have you ever had a pet expose an embarrassing moment? Drop your stories in the comments below. I read them all. If you enjoyed this deep dive into animal intelligence, smash that like button, subscribe for more mind-blowing wildlife content, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And remember, your parrot is always listening. Always. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.